Afternoon, Shriyam. How are you doing?
All good. How about you?
All well. So glad to see you. It's been a while since you got the score as well, and you were waiting for the score.
Yes.
Fantastic. First of all, brilliant, brilliant score. And by any standard, and it is equivalent like to a 760 in the previous or the earlier version. So the school, you were slightly apprehensive about where could this score possibly take you. But let me tell you, initially when you mentioned it to Sonal, right? But the score is good enough for any admission to any schools. I to assure you that, right? So all that you have to do is now work on your application. Absolutely without any kind of any inhibition, and you can just really work on your application and to apply to any schools of your choice, including Harvard. Is that what you mentioned you want to apply to? So tell us about your entire journey as to how the entire GMAT thing came into your mind, and how did you plan across? How did you come through Sandeep sir, and then the entire order, right? What did you prepare, and when did you give your GMAT exam? And also, please highlight, because this is something that I would like to know. It doesn't happen very often to a student. This was a long wait after you gave your GMAT and until you got your score, right? What really happened there?
Yeah. Thank you so much, first of all, for everything. And I think I'm really, really indebted to the entire top 1% team for all the confidence and for all the, learnings. GMAT is just, I would say, a 10% part of what I've gained from top 1%. It has a much larger picture in place, and the takeaways will be immense for lifetime. Coming to your question of how GMAT came, like how I came across GMAT and how I decided to give GMAT, and then how I came across top 1%. So I'll just briefly try and concise the entire story. Ever since I took the commerce stream in my 11th standard, I was very much inclined towards going and studying in the likes of Harvard and Stanford. So, in fact, if my accounts teacher till day recalls that you joined the commerce stream saying that one day, sir, you'll see me at Harvard or Stanford. And I think I am one step closer to that dream. And I keep my fingers crossed that with all the support from the team and Authority and everybody in the applications as well, we'll be able to crack it. And I'm hopeful. So yes, that was my motivation and inspiration. I missed Sriram College of Commerce by 0.02%,
Oh my
uh,
God.
which is of course like the best college for commerce in India. But no regrets for that, because I think I did wonderful in terms of my undergrad from Christ University. I was a part of the first program started by the university in its 50-year celebration, which was the BCom Strategic Finance Honors Program.
Mm.
And alongside that, I pursued my CMA certification. So I'm also a certified management accountant side by side. So that gave me more confidence. Now, during college itself, I was inclined towards giving my GMAT. But
Mm.
then COVID happened and everything was, puzzled. So I thought I'll probably postpone it once I complete my undergrad degree. A lot of my seniors in college, as well as my friends from other departments, were also preparing for GMAT. And top 1% was, of course, Bangalore, being the city, was people were very much inclined towards this particular institute, that if GMAT has to be taken care of, top 1% is there.
Right.
So initially, when I, post COVID, when I started preparing for GMAT, I thought that before, going ahead with my actual preparation, this is somewhere in, I would say, October, wherein I planned to go for an MIM. At that time, I was a little confused because COVID changed my plans a little bit. So I thought that why not, try and give the GMAT for in practice for about 2 months and give the GMAT. And if everything goes well, I'll give my applications in the second round, which is in Jan. So I prepared myself for 2 odd months, and then I gave my GMAT just to see where I stand. And I got a score of 600 there with 2 months of preparation. I was not very satisfied. Even my friends were like, "There's a lot to it which you can add, and you should take proper preparation course providers." And then I thought that yes, it is the right time to, enroll myself with top 1%. So yeah, that is how I took the help of Sandeep sir, and then everything else is history. That in my second attempt itself, there's a huge leap of from 600 to 715. And to be honest, I was discussing this with your colleagues also, that 715 does not really, make me feel that it's a 99 percentile, because we are very much, still in that zone of 760 plus and 780 plus. So that feeling did not come when I got the score of 715. I was like, I still better. I could have performed better. But then
Okay.
yeah, Sonal and everybody told me that you need to come out of the normal GMAT, and this is the FE edition, and it's a decent score. And
Right.
now I have an equal chance of, going into a top Ivy League as somebody in the range of 760 or 780. So yeah, that is how I cleared my GMAT. And I think every I was confident from the very beginning when I joined top 1% that I'm going to get a score which is considerable for a top Ivy League, and here I am
So something
finally.
very interesting that you just said, and I might ask you a question. One of the things Christ College is known for, a lot of students actually come from Christ as well. A bit, maybe about 10 years ago, one of the student actually made it to news. The youngest student, Annie, she's
Oxford, yeah,
19
Oxford,
years.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
she's
I
19
know
years,
about
and
those. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So that kind of really that was covered in the Times nationwide, and Top 1% really helped. And, I would see her come every single day, work in the class. That time we had an institution, of course, and and then since then a lot of Christ students really have buckled up. One of the things that I want to ask, because this is very young on, before even you considered joining your commerce college, you did have a vision for yourself that you want to make it to Harvard. And when you saw Sandeep sir for the first time, probably you might have heard of Top 1%, but when you saw him in the demo session and he speaks of the similar language, how did it kind of just match there for you?
I think so. There are two parts to the puzzle. I would say one is where you want to land, and one is how is somebody who's going to help you land over there. So those two pieces of the puzzle just connected is what I would say, because yeah, GMAT was very difficult for me. I'll be really honest. Of course, I have been good academically throughout, especially after my 10th standard. So I don't know, I suddenly had this motivation that I want to be in the top 1% of my class, even elsewhere. So I'm the top 1% in my college also, and in my 12th standard also I was the district topper. So yes, that motivation and that vision is where everything got aligned, that what I'm seeking for, and he's giving that. So I think this is the best option. And the conviction he had when we were there in the demo class, I think that is where I was damn sure that I don't want to go with any other study material, any other course provider, any other influencer. He's the one person, and there's no two questions or doubts about it.
Yes, sometimes, it's good to dream, but then when you do not know the path to that kind of a success, you will try to, second guess, is this even possible, right? And if someone comes with a similar conviction who's been there, done that as well, that kind of strengthens your own vision for yourself. And that's so glad that, you both kind of clicked. Now, let's just go deeper into the entire GMAT journey. So when you started, what were your weaker section? Was there any like verbal was weak, quant was weak, or all the three sections were challenging? Just take me through that.
Yes, yes. To be very honest, math is something I really did not like, and in fact, I my parents, pushed me into taking mathematics in class 11th and 12th, saying that even if you don't get good scores over here, it is going to help you out later in life, and that is how I non-voluntarily took mathematics in my 11th and 12th, which did help me to a certain extent in my GMAT as well. Although GMAT does not have that high level of mathematics, which what we study in class 11th and 12th, but the calculation part, and just to be in touch with the calculations and
Mm.
mathematics as a whole helped me. And so I told, in fact, I had a one-to-one conversation with Sandeep sir also, because I was very clear. that, sir, I don't like maths, and this is something. And he told me that you need to work on your basics, because no matter how many tips and tricks I give you, of course, that is the main Brahmastra, but then you need to have some certain basics at the back of your hand to be very fast in terms of your calculations. So he said that take some time. Of course, I am still 24 and a half, and I'm about to be 25. So he said there's no need to hurry as such with your applications. MBA, I've been to the US. I have attended. So how, I got this dream more concrete is I got this opportunity of visiting the US as a part of the Student Leadership Conference by IMA,
Mm,
the institution which provides CMA.
mm,
And from there, I went to the US to attend a student leadership conference. It was a 3-day conference, and I extended my stay just to go to Stanford and Harvard, two of the universities I really, really want to go, to experience the MBA class and to experience the program as a whole, so that I am, much more motivated and pumped that yes, this is where I want to be eventually, not for a period of 1 day or 2 day, but for 1 or 2 years. So
absolutely.
I gave myself some time. I took Sandeep sir's advice, worked on my basics for mathematics, and then, of course, the tips and tricks given during the class and during the sessions for quants really helped me get 98%.
Yes, perfect. I mean, one of the things that you really highlighted here is to be able to attend or just visit the college campus, because that's what generally a lot of students, even the people who are from the states, right, from the particular, let's say, California state, or even for that matter in Boston, they do make a visit so that they get an entire experience. Because when you are dedicated to get your GMAT every day, that's like a reminder for you that hey, this is where I have to be there. So you wake up every day to.
In fact, to be honest, just on a candid note, when I saw your profile picture being there at the GSB, I was very much empathized. Like, okay, I want that picture once again in my DP. So
Yeah, we
yes,
will connect, and I have to really speak of how I think I can speak for Stanford at least. We'll connect, on a different note, just to give you how, because then I've at least spent time with 10 of the professors, and I'll speak to you in length about that.
absolutely.
Probably you can write in your applications if you are,
Looking
uh,
forward. Yeah.
or maybe it can, if you have already submitted, then we can speak in length about in the interview section for the interview section. But that on the separate.
I'm yet to just to clear, I'm yet to submit for the top three, Harvard, Stanford, and Wharton. I am going for round two, which is in December and first week of Jan.
Yeah, I'll definitely be able to help you with a lot of these, insights. But going into the entire bit, which was quant is something that you were struggling with. What about verbal? Obviously, the quant segment you went through is the quant basics. Do you want to highlight how the basics kind of helped you, and where exactly did you see? Because a lot of students who are coming from a non-math background or probably do not like math in general, they still are stuck. Where did you get unstuck? At what point? And what were you doing specifically in quant?
So two things. I think this is very clear from Sandeep sir also in his classes, that take baby steps. No need to panic. I mean, what I can empathize for other people also is when you see mathematics as an entire subject and so many different topics coming in. There's geometry. There is other calculations. There is trigonometry. There is a lot of other things. I mean, GMAT related, non-GMAT related, and when you have to work on your basics, start from 10th and then 11th and 12th textbooks and other competitive exams, mathematics also. So people, I think get a little overwhelmed. I think that should not happen. And we should I somebody should have a specific target. What I did personally was, weekly there was one topic which I decided that I will go in depth of this topic weekly. Of course, to a little deeper extent, what is tested in GMAT, so that because I'm not just preparing for GMAT, eventually I know that I want to pursue an MBA, and there is a lot of quant which is applied in MBA as well. So why not, side by side, prepare myself for that also and polish my mathematics from there. So that helped. And then second of all, if things are easy, then probably everybody could have cracked it, right? You need to take the challenge, and you need to have that motivation in you. for me, this was my motivation that if you have to be there in the top Ivy League, you need to deal with it, and there is support available. So there are cases where I probably texted the instructors even at 2 p.m., 2 a.m. at night, and saying that I'm really puzzled and I'm not able to sleep because this question is not getting solved, and there I feel that this answer is also correct, this answer is also correct. So as early as possible when you wake up probably, or if you are still awake, please help me out because I'm puzzled, and this is taking away my sleep. So yes, there was prompt reply even then. I mean, the support, the kind of support I received was phenomenal, and I'm really really grateful to everybody for that.
Right. So you essentially, this is what we could summarize, that you did utilize all the resource, including the support that you have, which is essential. Sometimes you need that kind of a hand-holding when it comes to preparation, and you took care of all of the support. So tell me about your verbal part. How did you start with in terms of the preparation mode? How difficult or how easy was it for each of these section in RC and CR? And what really stood out in terms of the material, in terms of the content? What stood out for you in during your preparation?
I think so this is generally a conceived notion that if you're from an ISC background and you have studied Shakespeare and Bernard Shaw and things like that, you're good in at literature, then and this is something which we talked about also during our undergrad classes, that because they were like-minded people, and we discussed that we want to give GMAT, which is the harder section. So for, like, let's say 70-80% of the people, of course Quant was the tougher section. Verbal was, for most of us, we were like, we are good at English, we know, we have studied literature, we've got 90-92% in our school, so we'll crack verbal. And what is that? There's pronouns, there's prepositions, these things are there, just we need to read the passage and find out the questions. And this was what I went ahead with when I gave the GMAT in my first attempt. But then, yes, that gave me a bit of a shock when I saw the score. So I think the trick in verbal is to follow the key elements what Sandeep sir told, and I think that has been reiterated in every testimonial probably which I have seen. Octave, act, prime. I think more than understanding, getting to know the answer, we need to know the question and understand the question before answering. So I made it a point that unless and until I am through with what the question is asking me and what the statement is about, I will not even look at the answers. So this is, I first need to develop my own answer, and then I need to align myself that okay, this is the answer I thought of, and this is one of the the pointers given, and then I clicked it. So I would recommend doing it this way. This really helps, and this is what even Sandeep sir tells. And the techniques, I think, if somebody is blindly following the technique, 99% or 100% island verbal is guaranteed.
Any materials that you pick and choose? Did you pick and choose, or did you follow everything in the way that is being suggested, or something that you would suggest that this material did really help you at certain point to just overcome some of the challenges?
Particularly, I would want to. So I did not skip because, as I told you, Sandeep sir told me that you need to give yourself time, and I was also mentally prepared because I am working alongside my father in my family business. So to be honest, I did not give a lot of time in my preparation at a stretch. So every day, maybe let's say for 1 hour or so maximum, and the weekends for probably 2-3 hours.
Mm.
This continued for about 4, 5, 6 months oddly before I gave my exam. And side by side, what helped me a lot was know the world, because that is something I was really inquisitive. When when we saw the YouTube links and all, people were like, we need to skip it because we need to give the GMAT in 1 month or maximum 2 months. So who would go through all this extra stuff? And this is not even the syllabus or the curriculum of GMAT. But and I really felt that those people should now review those things and should go deeper into these things, because it's just not GMAT again and again. What I felt, it is a much larger picture, and the things taught are not just for GMAT, it is to prepare you for MBA and for life as a whole.
Life as a whole, because tomorrow if you come and talk about to let's say in a class of Stanford or in Harvard, nobody's going to be interested per se what happened in Christ College per se, right? You can just say maybe 15 minutes and that's it. But when you talk about things or things that matter between you and the other person, which is the world matters, and that kind of information is more crucial to share, maybe about AI, like, you're talking, you have something back in the background. That is more interesting, and that conversation can keep happening maybe every time that you have to connect post the classes. So those things, and then sir really covers that aspect, or maybe about geography, or maybe about, the entire thing comes together. It's not just about evolution is something that is basic to me, basic to you, basic to someone who's sitting there. So those are the points that are covered, and that's what I
And
think.
very importantly, sorry, I'm just cutting you. Very importantly, what I realized is that once we get into these classes of Stanford and let's say Harvard, there we are going to see people from all over the world. Maybe
Correct.
I think hardly 2 or 3 Indians would be there, and then I would really want that there are no Indians and there are people from all across the world, so that I'm able to interact with the most other people from around the world. Now when you don't have a common topic, like that person knows only about his or her own country and I know only about my own country, what will you talk about? How will you network? I think networking is the main agenda where most of the people are going
Exactly.
outside, going abroad for studies. So where's that basis where you're going outside for? So I think that's
You
what
cannot
matters.
just be a listener. I mean, it's good to be a listener, but when you participate, then the networking becomes more stronger, right? Yeah. I think one of our student, Anupam Lal, he was utilizing KTW while he was at the Howard campus. And then
Yeah.
he talks about, how stronger that is. So, going about with the preparation again, KTW happened, and then, any particular portal that you use that kind of helped you, that what you say, the mock portals, do you use the mock portals?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So I think from 600 to 715 cannot happen overnight, and my test portal will be the testimonial to that fact. It gradually. Sometimes I even got, I think the harder mock test. I even landed in something like 550 or 540 something. So that was a reality check, and I really wanted to know that, okay, even if the hardest of questions come in GMAT, where do I stand and where I need to work on. So yes, I took all the mocks. Probably I took about 15 to 20 mocks in a stretch of 6 months, and there slowly the scores started to improve. Quant, which I was very skeptical about, the graph started to show better results from, let's say, and 79% to 82%, 10 to 89%, and then to 95 and 98%. So that is how the graph went up. And verbal, of course, I was a little skeptical because I don't like reading long comprehensions. So I particularly picked and choose those comprehensions which were longer ones, so that I'm able to focus and get the right answers.
Did
So
you
yeah.
apply Octave and CR, and did you understand it fully and you started to apply to these questions? And did you
Yes,
see any accuracy increase?
yes, so initially, the easier way out is just to feel that, okay, why do you want to apply these techniques? And if sometimes I even did get the answers without the techniques. But when you see the probability of the answers coming right and wrong, then you realize that, okay, only 10% of the answers are coming right when you don't apply the technique.
Right.
And maybe 80% of the time when I'm applying the technique, the answers are coming right 90% of the time. So then I realized that, okay, yes, it is time consuming, because I think time is also a very important factor when it comes to GMAT, because the clock is just ticking and we feel that, okay, 1 minute is over and we need to click the answer and move ahead. So what I realized later on, that I don't need to panic if 1 minute is over. Maybe if it is a tough question, I need to give it some time, maybe 1.5, 1.8 minutes, but select the right answer. This is more important than just quickly selecting the answer and going ahead, which I was doing wrong before. So yeah, that really helped me. And applying the technique when I'm getting the answers, yes, that practice developed slowly and steadily, and it was showing results.
So touch basing on the work schedule, you said you were working family business, right? While you were working, how easy or difficult was it for you to take out time, and how many hours would you put in every single day? Were there any breaks in between?
Yes, so initially, after completing my undergrad course, I joined my family business because I really had a knack for entrepreneurship, and I really see a lot of potential. So we are into real estate and building construction material supplies, and I feel that there's huge potential for this industry to grow maybe by 25% year on year. And it becomes, when we are in the initial stage, it becomes a little difficult for us to take out time, because there's so many things we need to learn. And my father was also like, give it some time, but then you need to focus on your business as well if you want to learn at this point of time. If every time you've just completed your graduation and you cannot again open your textbooks and say that, okay, now I'm studying for GMAT. You need to learn the practical experiences. So initially I found it a little tough, but then yes, when you make a routine, because if you're a working professional, you have a fixed routine that, okay, I need to work from this these many hours, and then I'm free. Here you can have work even at 9 or 10 p.m. at night, so you're still busy with client meetings or with meetings with your suppliers or buyers. So I did not have a fixed schedule, I would say, but I was very much sure that in 1 week I want to give at least 8 to 10 hours initially. When the exam window was closer, I made it a point that half day I'm going to study and complete my mocks and revise, and half day I'm going to work. So find for somebody who's working as an entrepreneur or in his or her family business, I would recommend that having watertight compartments and schedules for work every day may not be possible because of the fluctuations in your commitments. But yes, weekly we can of course have a timeline that, okay, I need to complete these many topics and these many questions in terms of the number of questions, and practice this much. So that will eventually help.
Right. Would you also just be able to highlight about how did this 100 points jump happen, and what exactly did you employ during that period from a 615 to a 715? What are the things that you made an active changes in your preparation, and how long did it take for you to have that 100 points jump?
I think the first point is the attitude in myself. So to be a 99% percenter or to be a 100 percenter, you need to have that attitude, wear that attitude first, and prepare with that attitude. The first time, to be honest, I gave just 50% of my efforts and 50% of my attitude. That changed, number one. Number two, of course, Sandeep sir was not there in the first part. He was there in the second part. The top 1%, resources, the team, the group, even the study group. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention it in the beginning. Even my study group, when you have peers preparing alongside for a particular same task, you feel much more motivated, and you are, that gives you more energy and vibe to prepare for the exam. First, during the first time, I was like all alone, and because there's no physical class, there's just virtual classes, and none of my friends over here in my hometown were preparing for that GMAT. So I did not have anybody to discuss. Okay, I got these questions right. These were the toughest questions. I got these questions wrong. So I was all aloof towards that part. Third is, of course, the motivation and the aspiration to be in the top Ivy League and MBA program. Initially, I was preparing. I thought I'll give only apply for the MIM programs for 1 year. But then even Sandeep sir suggested, and a lot of my other friends and family and counselors suggested that MBA is the right fit for you. MIM can be a good fit, but then not better than MBA. So the inclination to go for the MBA, that changed. And of course, the support from the family when they saw that he's having all the resources, when he's having such a good mentor, when he's having everything, the flexibility also, the timeline was also there, then why not support him and make sure that he gets something above 700. So yeah.
Right. So that's a great insight. Now, on the exam day, so now, which was 715 score that got you there. How was the entire experience? Did you have any particular surprise in the exam in terms of any of the questions? How did you pace through the section? And start by telling what is the order of the sections that you took, and why did you take that? Why did you choose that order?
Yeah, so just to start off from the beginning, the exam day, of course, it's but natural to have, anxieties and butterflies in your stomach that, okay, today is the exam. And so my exam was, I think, around 5 p.m. And I did not feel like having my breakfast because I was like, I don't want to eat too much. So I just had a cup of tea and a little bit of dry fruits. And, I was just brushing through the tips and tricks during the last minute.
Right.
And then suddenly, and these things prepare you for life. So what I'm going to tell you now is, suddenly there was an electricity failure on the same day, and I had to shift to my friend's house because I called up the people over here, and I requested that when the power will be back available. So they said that there's some electricity failure in the transformer, and then until at least 8 9 p.m. there'll be no electricity. Of course, there's a certain limit to when the inverter and everything else can be supported. But
Yeah.
then, yeah, and that was well in time, and touch wood, that was well in time. I was informed, so I could shift to my friend's house, and then I, immediately took all my stuff, my laptop and my everything, ID card and everything, to my friend's house. Over there also, the Wi-Fi connection was not very strong, so we somehow managed to increase the Wi-Fi speed by getting a higher plan or something. But even then, the exam was scheduled for 5 p.m. and I probably started the exam at 6:30. I
Okay.
mean, I was logged in, but then again and again, because of network issues and connectivity issues, I was getting logged out. So I must, the examinee people were supportive. They understood the issue. They even, saw the speed test, the
Net speed test.
speed and all
Yeah.
that. They understood the problem, and I told them that I really, really want to give the exam right now because this is my best shot and I'm prepared, is what I feel. So please don't, disconnect me and give me the chance. And yes, then everything got settled in, and I was calm and composed, and then I started to answer the questions. As far as the order is concerned, I was prepared for what I was practicing in my mock, which was the toughest first. So I felt quant was my toughest, so I'll choose quant first, verbal second, and DI third. So yeah.
Okay. And you were thorough with all the questions that came in. Did you feel any surprises or um and especially pacing? Did you complete each of the section within the time?
Yes, so I think the best part about, I mean, of course, everything has pros and cons, but then the FE version has an option that you can edit up to three answers in each section.
Correct.
So that benefit got me that, okay, two of the questions in verbal, because in reading comprehension, I took some time, and reading, especially I think somewhere in the middle, eighth or ninth question. So I took some time, and there I was not sure, and I felt that the answers are not right. So as I had practiced that if something is not coming right, why not, let us not waste more than 2.5 minutes and just skip through the next questions. So yes, in the verbal, I would say there was some pacing issue from my side, but then it got rectified because I got I the other questions in CR I did quickly, and so I was able to edit the answers towards the end. Quant was more or less fine because I was prepared for it.
Right. So you got the score flashing on the screen 715, but then your actual score report came way later. You had to really wait a long time. How was that period like, and why was there a delay in getting the score report
Yeah,
after a really
well,
long?
I'll briefly tell what happened, and this is something I think I did not hear it in any of the testimonials of top 1%, even other testimonials from other people. that if something like this happens, what should one do and how should one deal with this particular situation. So it was a bit traumatic for me, because after getting the score reflected, after everything else, if the score report is not coming and you have to wait for 1.5 months, it is really, really disturbing. And you are not able to focus on your work, on your applications, on your
Application.
other things,
Yeah.
because you need that confidence. Okay, I have given the score and this should be an official score and I should be able to send it to the schools. So what essentially happened was that, as I told you, my network was a bit unstable. So when I got the score, and then we need to, show our whiteboard towards the end and show that everything else is erased and we don't have any answers written on the whiteboard and all. So I did that. And the invigilator who was there on Zoom, I called her out maybe 10, 15 times that, okay, is this fine? Can I go? I don't hear you. I don't see you. I kept on waiting after the exam for about, if not less, at least 30 minutes. Like just after the exam, 30 minutes, I'm sitting idle like this, and there was no response. So, and then my score was also, showed on the screen. So I thought that, okay, I've showed it to her and that's okay, and maybe the thing is okay, and I disconnected. So after that, I received that your score has been cancelled because of some technical glitch. So I wrote to Examity that why was it cancelled, and I need to know the proper reason. Give me a proper reason that why my score was cancelled, because time to time when I was shifting from one section to the other section, I was making sure that my conduct was proper. There was no glitch from my side, just to reconfirm that my network is again unstable. So that during those times, the invigilator was connected, and she was, her video was also on, and she gave me affirmative responses that, okay, you are fine, you can proceed to the next section. So I thought that everything else is fine from my side. And when, even though when the score was reflected, she was like, "Your exam is now over, and please follow the post-exam procedures." So everything else went fine. And then when I wrote to Examity, they gave me a reply that the invigilator said you did not, comply with the post-examination procedures properly, and that is why she has written a remark to cancel the score. And then I wrote a proper mail to GMAT that I want a proper video, because everything is recorded. So I would request to have a video wherein and please particularly point out where I went wrong and what procedure did I not follow, which was mentioned in the screen. So then they gave the reply that we need to check with the team, and we'll get back to you in 8 to 10 working days. And then they said that please write whatever happened after the exam as your response and what you think might have went wrong. So I
Mhm.
mentioned that, okay, I was sitting, you can check on the video also that I was sitting after the exam for 30 minutes and there was no response. I tried calling the invigilator. I even texted her on the chat. There was no reply. How else could I have contacted her? There was
Okay.
no other resource. So if there's anything wrong, and I even showed my whiteboard, I even showed that there's nothing, I don't have anything, you can just check. I even showed the room before leaving that, okay, just to reconfirm there's nothing in my room, if you feel anything. So if everything else is fine, please give me a valid reason. And then after, let's say 15, 20 days, I got this mail that we checked all the videos and we found out that there was nothing wrong from your end. The proctor was disconnected, and because of that, she could not join back, and hence she said that the post examination procedures could not be conducted. There's a difference between could not be conducted and followed. Followed
Followed.
means I have done something wrong. She told me, but then she was not even there on Zoom, which is her fault. So then they saw the video and everything was fine, and then they told me that your score is valid now, and you can check on your mba.com web portal, and yeah, you can send the
But
score
that's
within.
a see, nobody gets this, right? I mean, it's very difficult to challenge, unless, because then you are very present both in your exam and both in your environment, and so you could challenge them. But it's not very, it's a very rare case situation when students
Yes. Yes.
are going to challenge and then they would. go ahead and give another attempt. But it's very traumatizing. Now, if you look back in retrospect, would you say you would go for another online test, or would you never consider doing an online test?
Yeah, so I mean, because my center, so the closest center available from my city was in New Delhi, and then the dates were also, I was not getting the offline dates, and then I had some family functions and all of that during the time. And last time also I gave when I got 650, I gave it in the online format, and there was absolutely no flaw at all. Everything
Right.
went very very smooth. So I of course I had this skepticism that network issues and things like that may happen, but something like this happening, I was not sure. But
Yeah.
my takeaway and my suggestion and request to everybody who's giving the online version of GMAT is that if you know you haven't done anything wrong, and if you know that everything has been done from your end, please make it a point to challenge, because we have studied, worked hard to get that
So
score.
hard. Yeah,
You
and the
know,
money is also not less. You.
exactly, exactly. So again, giving the paying 20 25,000 rupees, scheduling the exam, again getting back into the zone of giving the exam. This is not easy, and probably because of that, I mean, yes, everything has pros and cons, but I was targeting round one, and I was
Yeah.
prepared that. And even Autry said this, that if you had gotten your score maybe 2 3 days, official scores generally come 2 3 days after your online score. So if you would have gotten the score in the first week of September, we would have made it through the top
Oh,
Ivy League in the first round itself. But
yeah.
thankfully, the bigger picture is that I got the score. That is more important. And if you haven't done anything wrong, please make it a point to
Yeah, that
challenge.
kind it has been a very daunting it's 1.5 month. It's not even like 10 days or 12 days, but a month and a half is quite a lot of time. So very heartening to know. But then it it is very heartening also to know that your score happened. You got the score. Now it's a great score. It's absolutely phenomenal. And I think Audrey will whip some magic to get that admit also happen very soon. So,
Also, just
yep,
just to highlight one very very important thing is, as I told you, this top 1% and all the preparation is not just for GMAT. Now, immediately after GMAT, how it gave me results was the way the GMAT people also acknowledged that the concise form in which I wrote the mail, highlighting every detail, important details, and making sure that it is very crystal clear, the communication is clear. That was also very very important. And this helped me because the way you communicate also matters. If a normal person probably would have communicated in a slang mail, I don't think so they would have taken it
exactly.
seriously.
It because in this state of mind, you will highlight more of your emotional state than the actual facts, right? And that in the GMAT realm of things, you know what Sandeep sir, he puts emotional to the side.
Right, and
Focus on the
the
facts.
fact.
What is the
Yes.
facts? Challenge the facts and challenge the assumption. That's what we look at, and I think great that you highlighted. So now you're on the other side. Is there anything that you would like to advise students who are starting out or who are about to give the GMAT exam? Certain tips or do's and don'ts, please.
Yeah, I think for the do's first, I think first have your motivation sorted, because I think that is a really important factor. Not even God can help you if you're not self-motivated. So you need to be self-motivated, and that goal you need to find. Of course, people can help you be clear with the goal. We can be confused about as to what we want to do, why we are wanting to give the GMAT, why we want to pursue an MBA. So that goal has to be clear, and I think top 1% team, apart from the study material, I think they provide the counseling, one-to-one, talk with the teachers, with even Sandeep sir. I think, don't kill me, but yeah, if you request to the core that Sandeep sir, I'm really confused, I want to have maybe 10 15 minutes of talk to be sorted in life before I start giving the GMAT, I think he won't say no. And this is what happened for me. So even before enrolling with Sandeep sir, I had this conversation, and that is where I was very confident and clear. So have that, number one. Number two, I don't think so that anybody, if you want to get a 99 percentile or a 100 percentile, anybody in this world can help you get it apart from Sandeep sir and the entire team. And this I can say with conviction, with 100% assertiveness. So the resources, the strategies, the motivation which they give, the tips and tricks which they give, the support throughout the journey, and even afterwards. Now, in my case, let's say when I was struggling with this thing, other resources providers may have said that, okay, now this is something we cannot help, but then the top 1% team was always there asking for updates, that did you get another reply mail, or do you want something from our side, how can we help you? So small things matter.
Yeah.
So yes, enroll in top 1%. Third is to have the timeline set. I think that you can discuss with your teachers, your mentors, your preparators, that how soon I want to give the GMAT. If soon, then what is going to be my study schedule? For in my case, Sandeep sir told me that you have time. Don't hurry if you want to get a good score. And plus, you are in your family business, so I know that you will not be able to take out strict 3 to 4 hours every day. So give yourself some time and maybe apply next year. So sort this out with the team, with yourself, with your family, with your mentors, and then align everything together with your preparation. So preparation is just maybe 20-30%, but all other factors will take into account that how well your preparation is adding to the entire GMAT score.
Right. And I think I could just add a few more from our conversation. You had your study buddy, or rather the entire study group, that really helped you,
Yeah, of
uh,
course, of course. That, of course,
added.
is not in somebody's control, but I'm sure people getting enrolled in top 1% are like-minded people from top-notch institutes, because somebody who's just wanting to give GMAT for a fling would not come to top 1%. You have people who are really really serious, who have maybe experience. So I had people in my group who had already experienced other coaching like other GMAT test preparatory material providers and other institutions, and then they were here. And then I do not know of any person who has shifted from top 1% and went to other
Some
course
other.
providers. So
Yeah.
that makes it a fact that you are the supreme, you
This is
know
the end or the stop
yeah,
right here. You
yeah,
will
yeah,
you will get to your final destination. That's what we would say. But
correct.
glad, and that also really helps, because then what we have is we do have students from, say, similar companies, or similar place, or even similar colleges. They all bunch in together and they join either a live class or the self-paced course. That really help. But then a study buddy always help, like but obviously we do not provide a bunch, because sometimes it can derail the somebody's idea of giving GMAT be
Yes.
next year. So it should not be yours. That's where we do not. You can connect with me, you can connect with Sonal, your facilitators, but sometimes it's easier that way. Then obviously, I think I could add, we always encourage you to ask question, tell your state, tell your if you do not tell it out, we would never know how to help you, right? We would, Sandeep sir, as you know, he has these sessions for the joint students, really motivating session to push you harder, to really make sure that you address your concerns. So without really, and that's one of the best quality that you also showcased throughout your preparation, that you ask question at the time that you had to, right? So, and you close the loop so that you could move progress further. I think that was another fantastic thing that I would like to summarize in your do's and don'ts. But thank you so much for sharing this. Do keep in touch. It's an absolute splendid performance, a long journey, as to say. You've seen it. But I really hope that admit happens. We'll stay connected. I would like to speak to you more in detail about probably Stanford experience altogether, and something that you can write in your application as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Would really help.
Uh,
And thank you so much for this. And it was, I think, a refreshing journey, like refreshing moment for me also to, have a throwback of all the preparation, the memories and everything. And I thank the entire team once again. Thank you so much. It's not just GMAT which you are preparing people for. As I said in the beginning, it is a much larger picture, and I, being a part of it, can surely advocate this. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for trusting us and being a part of this. Wishing you all the very best for the admit that will soon happen. All right. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank
Take
you so
care.
much.